Hi, Gemini. It's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology. Today I'm here to talk about Uranus, and it is, or Uranus, it is squaring the lunar nodes. On June 12th, it will make a perfect square to both the nodes, the south and the north node, and they'll both be at 2 degrees, right? Right now we're feeling that right now, but the perfect conjunction will be June 12th. And so they will all be at 2 degrees, and so it's a number six. Yeah, there's a recognition that we are recognizing, if you will, on that day, right? So the North Node and Uranus, which is doing the squaring, Uranus is already about change. Uranus is about disruption and instability, but liberation and innovation and independence, right? So Uranus wants change, and Uranus has already moved into Gemini, and I have a whole video on that. And Gemini is the cerebral. It's the way we think about things, right? It can represent our goals and things like that, our perspective. So there's already a big change there. Now, the nodes, the square will be there until October, around October 15th. So a long time, right? And what happens when we have squares? We feel a little bit of pressure. We feel that, things need to change a little bit or that we have to adjust something, right? So that's what's happening with that square, with those two squares. Now, and our south node, just a little bit about what the nodes are. The nodes are just points in the sky. They're not planets, but they are the ones that create the eclipses. Yeah, it's a big deal, right? So we have the South Node in Virgo. It's been there a while. It's going to be changing nodes, changing signs on July 26th. So, and it will still be in a square, although it will be in Leo and Aquarius. Yeah, that's going to be highly interesting. There's big changes for all of us. A lot of changes this year. Chiron is moving into Taurus. Um, and then Jupiter will be moving into Leo. Yeah, so we have a lot of changes. Now, the South Node itself is where we want to leave behind, and we want to move toward the North Node. The North Node is our soul's mission. Yeah, it's a big deal. So it's kind of like the North Star. That's what I like to call it, the North Node. But the South Node is where we've already been. So it can be our past lives, if you believe in that. It can be just the past here, and it is the talents that we're already really familiar with. It's anything we're familiar with. It can be wounds, right? We're all familiar with, any wounds that we've, experienced, past wounds, and it can be family wounds. It just depends. But it is a place of lack even as we look at the talents, right, that we have, because if we've already got those talents, okay, sometimes it wants us to pay attention to something new. That's what the North Node. I'm not telling you not to, be a musician if you're a musician already. That's not what I'm saying here. But the North Node is our soul's mission and where we are going, consciously or subconsciously. Yeah, and so the square will kind of push us toward that. Yeah, it definitely will. All right. Yeah, the energy will trigger us to move in a certain direction, where we feel like we can kind of no longer avoid. Yeah, and then everything else can fall into place. That's kind of what the astrology is trying to help us do. Yeah, and Gemini itself, Gemini, you are associated with curiosity and the mind, the cerebral. So, a lot going on, right? So, Uranus is in your first house right now, Gemini. So, I can only imagine you're feeling change. I'm a Gemini rising, so I myself am feeling a lot of change. Uranus is going to be there until 2033, kind of, changing things for you. Um, but yeah, and so Uranus definitely wants to liberate you. Uranus is making a square to your fourth house of emotional foundation. Let's flip over to the chart so you can have a look at it. And this is going to be for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So let's see what we have here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And I will be, yeah, I'm on the shoulder. There we go. Let's see if I am actually sharing you. Am I? Why does it say, oh, share? I didn't hit share. Oh, am I sharing here? Can't even tell here. Uh, yes, I am sharing. It does look like that. Okay, so I'm not sure why I can't see the chart, but um I want to see the chart. Okay, let me go over to there. Okay, so you should be able to see me now. Okay, perfect. Or not me, the chart. All right. I'm probably, I don't know where I'm at. Usually I'm showing up in this little window. It's okay. So here we have you. I already put you here at the ascendant. The name of the transit is not here because once I put you at the ascendant, it just doesn't want to keep that, right? That Uranus squaring the nodes. But that's okay, right? And so here we have Uranus is making the square to your fourth house. This is your house of emotional needs. So it looks to me that you're not needing the same type of thing, or you're being kind of triggered to be emotionally stronger. That's kind of how I see that. And maybe you are leaving behind old wounds, family wounds. That could be the case here, but you're leaving behind something, or you're being triggered to do that, Gemini. That has to do with the past. It can be, Virgo can be, maybe you were worried in the past about certain things, or things from the past have made you worry. But this is moving away from perfection, right? Gemini or excuse me, Virgo does represent, it represents perfection and refinement. But sometimes when we want to refine things, we kind of worry, or we get too detail minded. Oh, it's got to be perfect and things like that. So maybe that is part of what you are kind of, moving away from. You could be outgrowing the home you live in, or like your style of kind of, your lifestyle, maybe about where you want to live over the next 4 or 5 months. You're likely to reinvent yourself, Gemini, especially when it has to do with old patterns that have to do with family expectations. Maybe, somebody wanted too much of you, right? That could be the case with that family members, or, or either people, even people that you kind of, it doesn't always have to be family. It can be kind of like your tribe, where they just want too much of you, right? And you could be kind of remanaging or reinventing the way you manage your role within the family. That can be changing as well, right? And that can mean a lot of different things here, but you would know what that means, right? And there's something that you're letting go of that is no longer a measure of security. Yeah, this is, the fourth house with all this mercurial, right? And you are ruling Uranus here. Your sign or your planet Mercury is ruling Uranus, and it is ruling the south node as well. So there's a lot of mercurial, or this type of Mercury energy here, which is the cerebral, right? The thinking and the perspective and the ideas, things like that. So you're changing big time. Out of everybody, it would be you, Gemini, because Uranus is in your first house, but the south node is in Virgo, right? And for you, also ruled by Mercury. So there's a lot of change there for you. And I feel like you are also, if there was anything that was kind of, you're being asked to act with more independence now. And we can see that maybe as courage, right? If there was a situation that in kind of was kind of impeding anything, could be the way you were doing things, impeding your own self, your own autonomy, right? Or your own authority over your own life, you're being called to step away from those patterns, or those attitudes or perspectives, right? They're associated with the past. If you have been overthinking or overanalyzing things, or you wanted things to be perfect, you're like, oh no, I'm not doing that anymore. This is what you're going to be triggered to do. Yeah. And for some of us, it won't feel so much triggering. Some of us will maybe go with it, right? A little easier. That would depend on your own chart, right? Your own natal chart, which I'm not able to see here, but you're liberating. You're going to be liberating yourself in some way. Now, if you have bent over backwards for family members in any way, or anybody at all, and just kind of, you're going to step away from that. And you could be stepping away from being overly emotional about things, whatever that is, right? We don't, sometimes we're only over emotional about some things, right, in our life. Those things are in your chart. They'll show up, but we're not overly emotional about, maybe most things, but will be maybe some things, right? And natal Mercury is also it's in Taurus at the time of this square, right, of this actual, event. I would call it an event, but here it is natal. Where's natal Mercury? No, the natal Mercury was in Taurus is in Taurus now, I believe. So that's, I'm recording this on May 16th, right? May 15th, rather, one day before the Taurus new moon. But at the time, though, where is Mercury at? Mercury is actually in Cancer. So in another month from now, it's going to move. I feel like right now it's at the end of Taurus, and it will move into, it will move past your sign or through your sign, right? Which is always a good thing. It's always very favorable. But we're going to have Mercury in Cancer, and that will be in your second house of values and well-being. So there's something with the nodal change. There's something here that you're thinking about that you know is better for your well-being. Yeah, and that's in your house of well-being, finance, material comfort, and things like that. You could be doing something a whole new way as well. You definitely could, right? And so um, we also have Jupiter here in Cancer in your second house. I feel like what you are doing in this reading a little bit, or with the event, or you're supporting yourself a little bit more emotionally. That's what you're doing. But Jupiter is ruling the North Node, and that's in your 10th house of career. So this can have to do with your career, and it can also have to do with how you show yourself to the world, your reputation, your social role, your social standing. You may want to be seen differently because that is the house of where other people classify us, okay? And that is going to be changing, right? Yeah, with the perfect square there on June 12th. And also Jupiter is ruling your seventh house of relationships. This is also the house of business and clients, any type of partnerships, right? And also how you create harmony in your own life. And yeah, so so it's looking good for you, Gemini. And I suppose I think I've said everything I need to say here. You could be stepping into also more leadership roles here, or you feel like you're leading yourself in a better way. And Sagittarius in the seventh house, it seems like your philosophy is most likely changing, all right? Which is your perspective, basically. So thanks so much for joining me here, Gemini. If you want your own reading with me, you sure can get one. Check out the description box. I have great readings, and I'm also Gemini rising, so I'm understanding you, right? Hit the little bell so you can be notified of my next upload. It's very enriching to have your chart read, right? And I also approach it in a very, in a very transformative, empowering way. Yes, I do. Recently been studying with somebody who's awesome. All right. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining me here. And yes, have a good one.